spent years and years and years not really like being able to understand in my own mind how I could be a gay man who loved sports, because there was no one else that I could see out there who was like me, that professed the same kind of love and passion for the sports industry. So certainly, you know, every day of my life, that was a conflict that I had to try to resolve.
Basketball, baseball, football, hockey, soccer. Currently, there's only one openly gay male athlete competing in any of the leagues. Curious just why you think that is, why you think that we still have such a huge obstacle when it comes to having out, particularly male athletes in the professional sports industry.
I remember doing a radio talk show in San Francisco shortly after I came out, and Tom Tolbert, former NBA player, was talking about, he was saying, I don't think anyone would have an issue with a player. What you fear is that you could really disrupt the delicate chemistry of what is a team, right? And that the attention that you potentially could bring on yourself could be disruptive to what the team itself is trying to accomplish. So his view, which I think is pretty interesting, is that it really, in some ways, was out of respect for trying to be a good teammate, that you didn't want to like disrupt that delicate chemistry of what makes a successful team. But it really is amazing in men's sports that unfortunately that article that Ted talked about was in 2011, okay, and here we are in 2019, and no one else has taken that step. Jason Collins in our league at the tail end of his season obviously did choose to take that step very courageously. But it was at a point in time where his career was pretty much over. He did play part of one more season. But I think we still have societal barriers in men's sports that are just so far behind where our country is and where our society in general is right now.
In 2011, you made a huge decision that could have impacted your career. It could have impacted your personal life. I mean, obviously, it's a story that we can look back in hindsight and say, like, wow, everything was awesome and it worked out well. But tell us, kind of leading up to that decision, what were the things that changed that calculation for you to want to share your sexuality with the world?
And I was at a point in my life where I just said, you know what, like if I think it's time. And I never counsel anybody of what the right time is, or there's no special set of circumstances that presents itself. But those circumstances presented itself to me. But then the question was how, and what do I do? And if you want to talk about allies, I'm going to list a bunch of them right now. I went to a friend of mine who headed a big PR firm in New York City. We had the scene's going to look great in the movie, because it's a snowy day on the Upper East Side, snowy night, having dinner in the window. So it was like, Dan, so here's my story, and I can take care of business by just talking to the people I work with and bringing them into that part of my life the way I've never done before. Or do you think I can't judge the story? Is there something greater that could be gained if I did it in a different way? And he just looked across the table at me and said, Rick, like, if you're willing to do this, I want to help, number one. And I think it's page A1 New York Times, which I describe as my oh shit moment. Like, right? Are you kidding me? But then he connected me with a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter from the New York Times, a guy named Dan Barry. You're still reading his amazing stories in the New York Times. We decided if we could get those allies to tell my story, it would reach a much broader audience, be much more impactful, because everyone knew who these people were. We're just talking about 11-time NBA champion Bill Russell, who is a dear friend. Two-time most valuable player Steve Nash, who was playing on our Phoenix team at the time. Commissioner David Stern, who very much was my mentor. So it was people like that I had to go, have a conversation with and say, here's the story. Not all were shocked, but would you help me by talking to the New York Times and telling my story? So it was an amazing blessing. It really did end up page A1 of the New York Times. It's back when people actually read newspapers, right, before they were all online. But it's been amazing. It's just been the reactions just from that day forward. It's been an inspiring thing. It's comes with a great deal of responsibility, which you definitely understand. But it really was through friends that were willing to help me to bring that part of my life into my work life.